Hello, I'm Shaman here, and I'll be doing a quick guide on how to get started with Magic the Gathering Arena as a free-to-play player. I've seen a lot of different questions about how to get started, what to do, if you want to play free-to-play, is it viable to play free-to-play? And yeah, I just wanted to do this guide to help people get started. So hopefully you guys can get over the pretty steep learning curve and get right into playing this game. So I'm just going to start registering a completely new account. Okay, and we'll submit, see if this works. And I'm gonna see if I can skip this. Skip the tutorial. Alright, so if you don't know how to play Magic the Gathering, I suggest you actually sit through this tutorial. But for me, I already know how to play, so I'm just gonna skip it. We're just not gonna care about it. You get a bunch of rewards for clearing the tutorial. You get 5 decks. These are pre-constructed decks for each of the colors, and they're pretty bad generally speaking. But I'll just go over them one by one and talk about what to do. Alright, I'm going to pick one. I am a strong, independent black man. Alright, so the first thing I want you guys should do is you guys all do yourself a favor. Go over here, go to the redeem code and type in Play Ravnica. Just this. And you'll redeem yourself 3 free Guilds of Ravnica packs. Now, the rule for this run I'm actually going to do is I'm not going to open any packs that I get. Because that way, my run through will be different from yours. You should open up every single pack you get and use the cards in your pack to update your own decks. But for me, I'm just going to be playing with the cards that they give you. Let's look at the decks first. So you get 5 decks here. Not all decks are created equal, and I'll just go over each deck to see what is your best choice. So first is Graveyard Bash. So Graveyard Bash is playing black mana. Black mana, usually in Magic, you get a lot of hate, a lot of destruction, and a lot of stuff that uses the graveyard. They usually don't have any form of direct damage, but they usually can deal damage to creatures in the form of -1/-1 tokens. Doom of the Sinner is pretty good. It comes in as a 1/1 and it becomes a 2/2 once it dies. You can use it, you can destroy it for some kind of effect, and you get a 2/2 zombie. And zombies are really good because of Death Baron. So this is one of the reasons why the black deck's actually really good. Death Baron is a zombie lord. When we say a lord in Magic, we mean a creature that buffs other creatures of a certain type by +1/+1, usually +1/+1, sometimes more. So we call Death Baron a zombie and skeleton lord, because you see his text says it gives skeletons and other zombies you control +1/+1 and death touch. So this is really good. The death touch is actually really important because you can use a small, weak zombie or skeleton to block a very strong creature, and death touch will instantly kill that creature. So Death Baron is actually a great card. It's a rare, and you get 2 of it in this deck. So this is actually quite excellent. Flash is a really good mechanic. You can cast a card with Flash at any time as if it was an instant spell. So instant spells, automatically they have Flash. It's just not written on the card. So generally, if you have a card with Flash, what you do is actually you don't cast it on your own turn. You cast it on your opponent's turn. So with Hired Blade, what you can do is you can hold open 3 mana, which means you don't use this 3 mana. And at the end of your opponent's turn, or once they're attacking, you can flash in Hired Blade and then immediately use him to block some creature that you want to kill. Or you can just flash him in, and then when it's your turn, he'll be able to attack. So basically, by doing this, you allow him to dodge like a lot of board removal. Let's say like your opponent plays a board removal. After they play the board removal, you can flash in Hired Blade, and it dodges the board removal, and it can attack immediately, so that's really good. Murder is just a solid kill spell. You get 3 of it in this deck, which is actually insane. It's a great card to run. You get a flying creature here that is 2/2 and also has an Enter the Battlefield effect, which is really strong. And flying units are really good. Flying is one of the forms of evasion we have in Magic. Basically, evasion allows your creature to get around other creatures. So let's say your opponent is just all creatures that are on the ground. If you have a flyer, they can't block you, and you can just keep hitting them for damage until they die. So this is a really good card. Gravedigger is really good for getting back the 1 of copies of really strong minions that you get in the starter decks, because you only get 1 of them, which kind of sucks. But then since you have Gravedigger and you have 2 Gravediggers, you can play Gravedigger to get that, and then you can play it again. So that's actually really good. Gravedigger is a really good card. Open the Graves is really strong, especially since a lot of your starting minions are going to be pretty weak. If you can land and open the Graves, you can trade in your weak 1/1s and 2/2s into 2/2s zombie creature tokens, and if you have the zombie lord, they become 3/3s, which is like really good. Rise from the Grave is really good. You can target any creature from your your graveyard or your opponent's graveyard, which is really strong. Because like if they have like a strong minion that you manage to murder, you can just steal it, and it becomes a zombie, which means it gets buffed from your zombie lord. So there's a lot of good synergy here. And the last card is really good is Gravewaker. So Gravewaker, 6 mana, 4 black. It flies. It's a 5/5. It's already really good. You can return a target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. So again, this is something you do at the end of your opponent's turn. You leave 7 mana up. At the end of your opponent's turn, you activate Gravewaker's effect. You choose some big fatty from your graveyard. You put it into the battlefield, tapped, and at the start of your turn, it untaps and it's ready to attack. So Gravewaker is just a really good card. You definitely want to be playing this card if you're playing black in the beginning, of course. It's a little expensive later on once you get better cards, but for now, it does the job perfectly. So the black deck is really strong. I actually think the black deck is probably the best deck out of all these decks. Alright, the green deck. So green is the color of ramp in Magic. That means you get a lot of resources in terms of mana. Green also interacts with lands a lot, and they are creature based. They like to power up creatures. They like to have a lot of creatures. They usually don't get to do direct damage or like immediately destroy things, but they do get to destroy artifacts and enchantments pretty well. And also they have a fight mechanic, which is they have one of your creatures attack another creature. Ramp is really important in green. You get 2 copies of Llanowar Elves. Honestly, this card is like a solid 4 of because it just gives you more mana, right? You play this card, and then the next turn, you just have 1 more mana to work with. So you basically can ramp up your mana engine faster than your opponent. You can pump out bigger fatties faster than your opponent, and your opponent can easily lose to that. So green is a really good color. You have 2 Llanowar Elves, which is really good, and 2 Druid the Cowls, which is like a Llanowar Elf, except it has more health. Also creates green mana. Honestly, these are both commons, and if you have this, like, if you can just crack open some N19 packs and just get more of these commons, you can play 4 and 4 in any deck to just get your mana like situated, and you can just drop giant dudes really quickly. It's really good. Blanchwood Armor is a really strong card. It gives a creature +1/+1 for each forest you control, and it's very common to get a forest every turn in a green deck if you're running a lot of forests. So this card can easily just be like +5, +5, +6, +6 very quickly. So definitely if you're running mono green, you want to be running this card. This card is really good. And it makes a mono green card deck also very, very strong. Okay, Elvish Rejuvenator. This card is also very good. It gives you extra forest, so it's like ramp. It costs a little bit more than the others, but it gives you a permanent forest or a permanent land from the top 5 cards. So you can also miss, but generally speaking, if you have more than 24 lands, you're going to be hitting basically every single time. And yeah, you just get an extra mana to use the very next turn. And remember that we want a lot of forests for Blanchwood Armor, so Elvish Rejuvenator definitely helps get more forests and powers up that enchantment. Gigantosaurus, it's 5 mana for 10/10 of stats, which is insane, but you only can cast it with green mana, which means that you're basically running a mono green deck. Generally, if you're running more than 2 colors in a deck, you don't want any card to cost more than 2 of their respective manas, right? So like if you're running, let's say, green-red, you don't want your green cards to cost any more than 2 specific green mana. So if it's like this card, it costs exactly 2 specific green mana. You can play it. It's going to be hard to cast, but you can play it. But this one costs 3 specific green mana. This one is going to be very, very hard to cast in a multicolored deck, so generally you want to stay away from it. But in a monocolor deck, this card's really good. And you can definitely have the right kind of mana to cast it, so it's a perfectly safe option. A really smart option, since this gives Trample. So Trample allows you to assign excess damage dealt by your creatures to other things. So let's say your opponent is blocking your 8/8 Trample with a 1/1. Normally, if you didn't have Trample, you would just do 8 damage to the 1/1. But since it has Trample, you can do 1 damage to the 1/1, and the leftover 7 damage you can deal to something else, either another blocker or, in this case, your opponent's face. Now, if it has Death Touch, so Death Touch, we talked about this earlier in the black deck. Death Touch says, if you deal 1 combat damage to a creature, that creature will die. So if you have Death Touch and Trample, no matter how much health a creature has, whether it's 1/1 or 10/10, all you have to do is deal 1 damage to that creature and it dies. So if they block your 8/8 with a 10/10 and another 10/10 and you have Death Touch and Trample, you can assign 1 damage to one 10/10, another damage to the second 10/10, and the remaining 6 to your opponent's face. Both 10/10s will die because of your Death Touch, and Trample allows you to do the rest of the damage, 6, directly to your opponent. So yeah, so if you combine these keywords together, you get something very, very strong. The last card that is really good in this deck is Ghalta. Ghalta Primal Hunger costs 12 normally for 12/12 and has Trample, but it costs X less to cast, where X is the total power of creatures you control. So every creature and every bit of power on your board contributes to how easy it is to get this card out. So if you can get Ghalta cheap, you can just drop him and he's a 12/12 threat that you have to deal with. So Ghalta is really strong. It helps. And remember, like stuff like Blanchard Armor that powers up your minions will also reduce the cost of Ghalta because it counts towards that. So definitely the green deck has a lot of synergy. It's also a very strong deck. You can get very far with it, especially once you get more copies of the cards that give you mana. And probably if you want to play mono green, you want more copies of Blanchard Armor. It's a really good card. Alright, next moving on to red. So red is the color for specifically direct damage. Deal damage to anything. Creatures, planeswalkers, your opponent. So red will have a lot of those spells, and red is also the color for a lot of haste effects, which means the minion can attack immediately. Red will have a lot of goblins, a lot of ogres, dragons, that kind of creatures. So yeah. So Shock is a really good card. It just deals 2 damage to any target. It's instant. You can cast it at any time as long as you have the right mana floating. It's just a really solid card. You probably want to play Shock. In a lot of red decks, it's just really good. Viashino Pyromancer is really good. So it's a 2-mana 2/1, but when it comes into play, it just straight up deals 2 damage to your opponent. So it's like it attacked that turn. But it doesn't have to like go through blockers or anything. So it's really strong. You actually play this card in like later versions of Burn because it's a wizard. Demanding Dragon is a great card. It's probably the best card in this deck, actually. It comes in, it's 5 mana, which is pretty cheap for a 5/5 flyer, which is really good deal. Remember Gravewaker in the black deck, it's 6 mana for a 5/5. This is 5 mana for a 5/5. And when it comes in, it deals 5 damage to your opponent unless he sacrifices a creature. So if they have one really strong creature, they're not going to want to sacrifice it, so they just take 5 damage, which is like if Demanding Dragon had haste and just was able to attack your opponent's face. So this card is really good. If your opponent has less than 5 or 5 or less health, they can't not sacrifice a creature, but if they have less than 5 health and no creatures, they just die. So Demanding Dragon is a really strong card. Definitely if you get more copies, you want to run more copies in a deck with red. Burning Sun Avatar is the other really good card. It costs 6 mana, 3 colorless, 3 red. When it comes to the battlefield, it deals 3 damage immediately to your opponent, no question asked. You just lightning bolt your opponent's face, and then you can deal 3 damage to up to 1 target creature. You don't have to target anything, obviously, if your opponent doesn't have any creatures, but it just bolts another creature. So it removes something on the field, and it deals damage to your opponent's face, and it's a 6/6 for 6. It's a good card. Definitely, you should think about running this in decks that run mostly red. So the red deck is pretty good, has some good cards, but generally speaking, I think it's a little overkill on like some of the dragons. They're not that good. A little weak on that side. Alright, so the blue deck is, so blue is the counter magic card, counter magic color of magic. A lot of spells, a lot of cards that draw, a lot of cards that bounce. Usually don't have any direct damage or removal, but a lot of bouncing, a lot of manipulation. It's a very kind of like a sneaky type of deck. Some blue cards will interact with artifacts, and there's a lot of flying cards in blue, usually. That's a common thing. This card's pretty good. It's a 3-mana 2/2 flyer. You know, flyers are just really good. This card's really good. When it comes in, it creates a 1/1 flying artifact creature. So you have one thing to attack with that flies, and you have one thing that's on the ground that can kind of block or attack with. The best card in this deck clearly is easily Sai, Master Adopteress. This card is absolutely insane. This card actually broke standard last rotation. thanks to Kaladesh. Those cards rotated, so it's not as good anymore. But this card's really strong. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, you can create a 1/1 Thopter that has flying, and then you can sacrifice 2 artifacts, pay colorless and a blue to draw a card. Tempest Djinn costs 3 blue, so you have to run him in a mono blue deck, but he's really strong. He has 4 health, which is really strong, and he's flying, and he gets +1 power for every basic island you control. He's like the core of like mono blue tempo. So the difference between tempo and aggro just always wants to go face. Tempo just wants to create big threats at every step of the turn. Tempo just wants to be tapped out of mana, always have something on the board, but not necessarily always go face. They sometimes play for the board more than aggro. Aggro usually just ignores board if it can and just goes face. But unfortunately, these are the best 2 cards in this deck, and everything else just kind of sucks. Alright, the last deck is the white deck. So white is the color of healing in Magic, and then white is the color of enchantments. It also cares about creatures a lot. A little bit different than green, but very similar. That's why green and white usually go together a lot. And they have angels. That's basically all you need to know about white. Where is it? Luminous Bonds. There you go. This card is incredible in a limited environment, which means in an environment that you don't have access to every single card. Magic Core 19 Draft. This card is like the best card in Draft. If you draft like 6 or 7 of these Luminous Bonds, you basically go like 5 wins guaranteed. Your opponents just don't have attacking creatures for the entire game. This card's really good. It's a very good boon if you're going in white. This card is probably the best card in this deck. It's 4 mana for 4. When it attacks, you immediately create 2 1/1 white cat creatures with lifelink that are also attacking. So basically they had haste. And so basically when it attacks, it's attacking for 6/6. So even if you block 1, you'll still take the others. You'll basically heal 2 because the 1/1 cat creatures have lifelink. And what's more importantly, they stay around. So if your opponent doesn't block them, they're just on your field. And next turn you just attack again and you create more cat creatures with lifelink. This card is super good, and it synergizes really well with a lot of other cards in the deck that cares about tokens or small creatures or 1/1s or gaining life. So this card is just like a staple in a lot of good white decks that are in the standard meta right now. Of course, not like in super high constructed, but this card basically carries you a long way. This one, Legion Commander. This card is really good. Whenever another creature with power 2 or less enters the battlefield under your control, you gain a life and you draw a card. So remember Leonin War Leader? It creates 2 1/1 white creatures. So when it attacks and this card is on your field, you gain 2 life and you draw 2 cards. It's really strong. This works really well with decks that run minions with low power. It synergizes really well with this card. Zatalpa Primal Dawn. So it's the second biggest minion in all the basic decks. It's 6 white. It's a 4/8. So it has flying. It's evasive. Double Strike. This is the first time we've seen Double Strike. Double Strike basically means that it deals both first strike and regular combat damage. So combat and Magic is divided into 2 phases: the first strike phase and the regular combat phase. So when combat happens, first strike happens first, and then regular strike happens. So this actually attacks twice. It'll deal 4 damage first before anything else happens, and then it'll deal 4 damage again in regular combat. So basically it's an 8/8 disguised a little bit. There's some interesting first strike mechanics. For example, if this is attacking a 4/4, you would expect it to take 4 damage back. But actually, because of double strike, which is also first strike, it'll deal 4 damage first before the opponent even has the chance to react. That 4/4 will just die, and then it doesn't attack again. But it doesn't take any damage back. Yeah, so that's how first strike and double strike work. It has vigilance, which means it doesn't tap when it attacks, so it can block and attack both. It has trample, and it has indestructible. It can't be destroyed. It can still be countered. It only gets indestructible when it's on the field. It still can get bounced because it doesn't have hexproof. But yeah, it can't get destroyed by murder, which is the best removal spell that you get in the beginning. So this card is also really good if there's a way to get it out onto the battlefield. So yeah, these are the 5 pre-con decks, and generally speaking, they're pretty weak by themselves. But if you're creative enough, you can combine them to make like a better deck. I think black is the best. I think you definitely want to start in black, and you can either splash into green, red, or white. And in each of these, you can use the big creatures as like your finishers, and you can use like their game plans to like help you, proceed in the game. So for example, green will give you more mana, red will give you direct damage and more control, and white will give you the luminous bonds to have even more control on your opponent's minions, and also the life gain. So I already actually tried green-black earlier. That was the deck I was playing when I started my other account, which is mostly free-to-play. So this time I'm actually going to try black and white. So I'm going to make a black and white deck to just play in the beginning part of this game. So I think black is the more important color, so I'm going to start by choosing my black cards. So 2 Gravediggers, 3 Murders, take the Open the Grave, take the Rise, take both Sovereigns, they're both good. Take the Gravewaker, take the Death Barons, take the Walking Corpses, the Doom Dissenters, Higher Blade's good, Dark Goal is good. Anything else? Alright, cool. And I'll take the white stuff. So these are all strong. This is pretty strong. This is really strong. These are really strong. These are really good. Let's see. What else do I want here? I want to keep this the power 2 or less because of the... Actually, I don't think we want Confront the Assault. I don't think that's good. This is going to be really hard to cast, so I kind of don't like that too much. This is kind of hard. Honestly, I just really want the white for the things I already got. I don't think the rest of the white deck is necessarily that good. Strangling Spores is pretty good. The Blood Letters. These are good. I want those. Actually, you know what? I'm going to take the Take Vengeances because I feel like I just want to be able to deal with like my opponents immediately. And yeah, I guess you know what? I'll take Confront the Assault. I like having the surprise factor. Alright, and then they give you free 4 of these lands, so I'm just going to add 4, and it's going to replace automatically for me. So they usually recommend 24 lands, and this is, I think, is pretty good. I'm more black than white, which is, yeah, you can see I have more black cards than white cards. Yep. And we'll call this, and I really like the art on Gravewaker, so we're going to use that as our image. Alright, cool. So we have a free-to-play deck, just using basic cards, and yeah, it's time to play with the deck. Okay, so let's get going and see how well our makeshift black-white deck goes. Okay, so this is 3 lands. I think I can keep it. Even though I don't have anything I can play the first 2 turns, this basically means that I'll start being able to do stuff starting turn 3. And starting turn 3, I can play a lot of different things, which is pretty good. And I can also draw into like a card that I can play earlier, so I'm not too worried about that. And if we lose, you know? Okay, that's pretty good. Oh, hey, he's being pretty friendly. I'll say hello as well. Hello, you're on YouTube, by the way. Hope you enjoy that, I guess. And I'm just going to pass the turn. So remember, because this has flash, I can flash it in at the end of his turn, so I don't have to play it right now. And, he's gonna Blanchard Armor that. That's a really good card, so we're not gonna let him have that. So he's gonna attack, and we're going to counter it by murdering it. Yeah, definitely don't want him to be able to have that armor. That's a really good card. Alright, so we can play another. And I'm actually gonna pass again, because there's really nothing for me to drop right now that I care about. Yeah, I don't care about it. Okay, so it looks like he's not playing anything. So right before it's my turn, I'm gonna cast Higher Blade. So it's flash. So now actually I can attack with this Higher Blade immediately. So as you can see, I can go into attack. So yeah, it definitely gives me the chance to attack with the Higher Blade before anything else happens. So I'm actually gonna pass it again because I have another Higher Blade. And also I have Murder, so just in case he plays something super big, I just want to get rid of it immediately without having to worry about anything. And looks like he doesn't have anything. Wow, I didn't miss the timing. So I'm going to cast the second Higher Blade, so I'm going to attack with everybody. 2 attackers. Damage. Alright, and I don't need to play any of these cards right now, so I'm just going to pass it over to him again. He's just on 5 lands, he's not playing anything, which is kind of weird. He's on 6 lands. You know, he can play something. Oh, the Aggressive Mammoth! This is a very big card. So we're going to let him resolve that. And then before it's my turn, I'm going to kill it. Because that card is really strong. We can't let that live. So I'm actually going to attack first. And then we're going to play this. And then we're going to end the turn. Let's go up to 7 lands. He's going to play a Highland game. Okay, so that card's going to be... It's going to gain him some life, so that's going to be pretty good. Oh, he's going to Blanchwood Armor it. So now it's really big. Okay. But see, this is the good part about Luminous Bond. So we're out of murders, so we can't kill them anymore. But I can Luminous Bond it so that he can't block with it. Oh, he's gonna have to fight me. Oh, okay, that's a pretty good play. Alright, so I'm gonna Luminous Bond the Highland game. We're not gonna let him use that. And I'm gonna combat. We're gonna attack with this. And we're gonna Gravedigger actually, because we don't have any other cards to play, so we're gonna Gravedigger for a Hired Blade, so I can play that the next turn. I'm just going to attack with both creatures. If he can't stop this, I win. Yes, we got it! Pretty good! Alright, so I'm gonna reroll. Okay, so it's a 500 gold quest. I'm just gonna reroll it, because we want 750. Yes! We want 70-50. And it's cast 3 green or blue spells. I don't want to do that right now, because honestly, our green-blue decks aren't that good. And yeah, let's just give this white-black basic deck a few more runs to see how well it does. Okay, so it's 4 lands, but we have a 2-drop, and we have a 3-drop, and we have Murder. This is keepable. I like this hand. Hopefully we don't draw into more lands, and we draw into more threats. That'd be good. And I'm going first, I think? I hope I'm going first. No, I'm not going first. Oh, well, that's fine. Okay, he's gonna do exactly what we're gonna do, so that's gonna be fun. So, play a Swamp. Play a Doomed Dissenter. Another Doomed Dissenter. Okay. Interesting. Oh, he's gonna attack. I'm actually gonna block. This way I'll get a 2/2 zombie, and he'll get a 2/2 zombie. Alright, my turn. Planes. And I'm gonna play the Flyer right now. Since it flies, and I'm not gonna attack. So since it flies and he has nothing to block flying units, I basically can just keep it up and flying and attacking him until he plays a flying unit, which is really good for me. And it can also block this turn as well. A Deathboon Solid. Okay, that's a 3/2, which is a little bit... it has 3 power, which is pretty strong. Let's see what he's gonna do. Oh, he's not gonna attack. Okay, that's pretty good for me. I'm not too worried about a minion actually right now, so I'm gonna actually play the Pegasus Courser. So since this thing has 3 health, it allows me to block the two thing without taking any damage. And I'm just gonna attack with the 2. Oh, that's a good card. Wow, you did that really well. Okay, interesting. We're just gonna block this actually. Alright. Interesting. Okay, we're gonna attack. Actually, do we want to attack? Yeah, we'll attack. Yeah, so he's gonna attack with everything. I'm gonna play Confront the Assault. Nice, and... well, these are all flying creatures, actually. Actually, you know what? Actually, I don't think we block. I think they're all... since they're all flying, we'll just keep them for next turn. I'll do more damage than he does. I'm doing 5 damage every turn. He's only doing 4 damage every turn. It's really good. So I'm just gonna attack with everything. I think we keep all the flyers. I'm gonna play planes. I'm gonna play the goal. All right, end turn. So he can do 4 damage to me, but he's losing on the damage trade, so it's not good for him unless he starts playing bigger creatures. But I have Murder for the bigger creatures. Yeah, we can take the 4 damage. No, we're not in danger of losing any time soon, and he's actually in bigger danger of losing than we are. Actually, now that he's attacked with everything, he has no blockers, which means I can attack for 7 damage. He only attacked with 4, and he's going to lose really soon. But I'm actually not going to attack with this. I'm going to keep this up for blocking, because this does 5 damage, and it'll bring him down to 5 health, which means it's exactly perfect. 2-turn lethal. Oh, that's a very good card. All my other creatures have Vigilance? Oh, do we want to cast this now, though? If he has a creature that we want to get rid of, actually, we don't really care. So we're going to cast Sarah's Guardian. So all my other creatures will have Vigilance, which means that they can attack without resting, and I can attack with everybody. I don't think he has any counter spell. Alright, that's pretty good. All my creatures now have Vigilance. Oh, I guess he can Murder it now. Yep, that's what I thought. Well, it gets rid of his Murder, and honestly, that's not that bad. 4 attacks. He's gonna Murder this one? I think that's a little waste, but yeah, go ahead. I only have Murders too. Oh, he's gonna use Strangling Spores on it, which is basically a Murder here. Alright, but you still can't block my flyers, so we're still doing well. I'm gonna block this, so we don't take that damage. Attack with our flyers again. Three attacks. Okay, Okay, he can use that to draw cards right now, but he'll use that. Oh, okay, yeah, he'll use that right now. It doesn't matter if he uses it now or later, to be honest. Infectious Horror. Okay, that's not gonna do anything right now. Not too worried about that card. And he doesn't have that much mana left to do anything, so I'm pretty good. Oh, Llanowar Elf, okay. Yeah, so if I draw like a card that deals damage to him, which I have a lot of cards that do that, like deal direct damage, he's basically dead, so that's good for me. Okay, yeah, so I'm gonna actually, this is the perfect time. So I'm gonna counter his Rabbit Bite by using Murder to kill it, so that he doesn't get to kill one of my tokens, because it loses the target. Perfect. Just what I wanted to see. Oh, he's gonna attack with that. I'm actually not gonna block. Oh! It's a card. Alright, perfect. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna play this card right now. He can't do anything about this. And I'm going to... I'll attack. So he has to block my Diregraph goal, otherwise he loses. Alright. He only has 1 health left. He's looking pretty bad for him. He only has 1 card. He's probably going to attack with everything, but since I can use Murder to kill probably the Infectious Horror, he won't be able to do enough damage to me. Gravewaker. Okay, well he's going to tap out for that boy. Okay, let's see here. Alright, so he's attacking with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage. If I block one of them, probably block this one. He'll do 4 damage to me. I'll murder the Gravewaker, and then I'll win the next turn. Alright, looks good. And on the defense, I'm gonna murder this one. And on my turn, I'm going to attack with all my creatures, and that's a win! Yay! Oh, that's pretty close though, actually. I went down to 1 health. That was actually a lot closer than I thought it would be. Alright, we're just gonna keep doing the daily quests, or the quests, until we unlock the ones that give us the decks. Alright, this is an okay hand. I have a 2-drop, I have a 3-drop, and I have this, which I probably can't cast ever, which is fine. I mean, we'll see how that goes. What is this thing doing here? What is this thing doing here? Hello? Wait, it's not, I can't click it. Excuse me? Oh no, he's gonna make something with, oh. Okay. He doesn't have a land drop this turn. That's good for me. And Doom Descender. Next turn I can do Skymarch Bloodletter, which is flying, and I just want something in the air so I can keep attacking him. Another Llanowar. Oh no, that's a lot of mana. That is a lot of mana. He's gonna attack? Okay, that's a very bad mistake. You don't want to be losing your Llanowar elves to Doom Descenders. Let's just get that, you know. That's not a good move. Don't do that, please. That was a bad move for him. Yeah, because now he's kind of screwed. So I'm just gonna attack with this because it's a free attack. He had a good start, but definitely would not have attacked with that elf. Not a good move. Oh! Plummet! That's a good card. It's better to create another minion than to attack here. But he's gonna attack anyway, so that's fine to me. Fine with me, fine with me. Oh, okay. So I'm gonna combat attack with this. And I'm gonna cast the goal. I'm gonna end my turn. And now I have 3 mana left floating, which means if he attacks with Druid of the Cowl, since I don't have any blockers, he's gonna be like, oh shoot, free damage. And I'm gonna flash in Hard Blade, block the Druid of the Cowl. The Druid of the Cowl is gonna die, and I'm gonna win the game. That's why Flash is like a really strong mechanic. Flash is just really strong, actually. This card is probably way too strong for its own good. Oh, look at this. All according to plan. All right, Flash in before block step. Flash in Higher Blade. He has a response. He has like some kind of instant. Okay, now I can declare blocker. Block the Druid of the Cowl. And if you instant growth, you wasted instant growth. That's like worth it for me. And if you don't have instant growth, your Druid of the Cowl is just dead now. You have the instant growth here, or whatever it's called. Something Nature's Forest, +4/+4, so you don't lose the druid. I would do it. I think keeping the druid is so much more important. Oh, Verdant Rebirth. Well, that's pretty good. So he just gets it back instead of losing it forever. This is not bad. But I mean, alright, now I can cast Open the Graves, which means whenever something dies, I get to, you know, do cool stuff. And I'm going to attack with these two. Gonna keep the goal up so I can block with it. There's no reason for me to attack with it. I'm doing really well already, so. And I have Luminous Bonds just in case he drops some huge minion that just tries to destroy me. It's probably not likely though. Oh, and he surrenders. Yeah. So definitely not a good move in the middle there to attack there. If you're playing green, you don't want to attack with your mana sources, especially when your opponent has mana left open to like kind of mess with you. We're just gonna wait for a new deck tomorrow actually. So if you were playing this on your own, if you're playing free to play, I highly suggest that you do all your daily wins. So it goes up to 15, and you get in total 750 gold and a bunch of different singleton cards for your collection that are at least, I believe, uncommon or higher. So that's really good. So you want to do that. So you want to play and win until you win 15 times every day. And this is, I believe, it goes up to 15 wins a week. Yeah, it says right there. 15 wins a week, and you get up to 3 packs per week. So you also want to do those. But I won't do those because this isn't my main account. I don't have that much time. Yeah, I hope that was just a good demonstration and a guide to kind of like getting started. And you just want to win 15 times on your first day using either like a black-white or a black-green deck, or even like a black-red deck. Just have fun with it. Win 15 times and then just wait. Magic is like a really hard game to get into. There's like a lot of information. I definitely said a lot this video, so if you're having trouble digesting it all, that's what the day is for. It's for you to sleep on it, for you to think about it, maybe watch some videos, read some articles about Magic. Magic has been around for, I believe, like 30 years already, so there's a lot of stuff you can learn and get into. So definitely don't think that this is like the surface or anything. So yeah, I actually think it's good that they space it out. I know like a lot of us we're like really impatient. We just want to get right into it and just start playing. But honestly, like it's good that they space it out so you can, especially for newcomers, if you're not familiar with Magic, you get to learn concepts and things like this slowly, day by day. And so yeah, hopefully we'll continue this guide every day just to walk you through all the decks, all the different things and situations you can see. And then if you're a returning Magic player, like a veteran player, you already know how to play, you're just itching to get in and you just hate the fact that you have to wait basically a week, you should just go bug your friends for their pre-release codes from Guilds of Ravnica sealed event. For each pre-release code, if you go to the store and insert the code that they get on that card here, you will get a free entry into the sealed Guild of Ravnica's event, which will give you 6 draft packs, and even if you don't win at all, which is possible, you will get another 3 packs. So you basically get 3 endgame packs and 6 draft packs. It's super worth it. You get it for free. If you are just itching to play Magic the Gathering Arena and you're already like a veteran and you hate this, just bug your friends, get that code, finish the sealed Guilds of Ravnica. You'll probably have enough cards at that point to build like a Dimir or a Golgari deck that's actually good, and then I would just, start playing from there. So yeah, so that's it for my first video. Thank you all for watching. If you like what you see here, I'll probably be putting up the rest of the week. And then, yeah, just let me know what you want to see in the next video. Like if there's anything that I didn't cover that you want to see that you want me to like talk about, any questions you have, just let me know in the comments or hit me up on Discord at Chairman. And yeah, so hopefully this was helpful for you. And yeah, I'll just see you next time.